As we saw on Computex 2024, they presented a new AIO, tubeless AIO, or is it really a tubeless AIO? It is when you take into consideration that your standard AIO, in terms of like regular shape and all the size and everything all together, has tubes running throughout your whole PC, covering up your RAMs and similar things like that. Well, we have the HydroShift. You have three versions of it. This is Lian Li HydroShift, the particular one right here is 360 TL, then you have the S and you have the RGB. So the TL one was my favorite when it comes to, let's say, pairing it up with other fans, because first of all, I'm really a big fan of these fans, of the TL fans. First of all, because they look like SL Infinity, they have an extra lines when we're talking about RGB, cool middle part where the rotor is, and altogether an outstanding performance in general. So that's really cool. So apart from the S and the RGB version, I really wanted to check out the TL version and to see what it is. But what did Lian Li do with the HydroShift and the tubes? As you can see, there aren't any tubes right here, right? You have tubes running here from the top, and basically the only thing that covers the VRM heatsink. So what we have is an even cleaner look, an even cleaner design of your PC with this type of tubing. So what they did, they basically placed a cover on the entry for the tubes on the radiator, and they kind of bent the tubes. They are still flexible, don't get me wrong, they're still rubber inside and you can still do wonders with it, but they're still flexible and they are by 90 degrees. So flat out of the radiator, they're going 90 degrees either to the left or to the right, and you have a nice cover that covers up the tubes almost to the half of the radiator. And after that, if you decide to do so, you can add a metal bracket that will hold additionally the tubes up on top, giving you quite outstandingly clean visuals when we're talking about the PC. Now, next in line, what you do have additionally is they wanted to keep it clean to the maximum. You have a cover for your screws, which is additionally something that not many manufacturers have been doing. I saw some on Computex, but regardless of that, they did release the AAO before everybody else, so they have nice covers on the screws. And additionally to that, you have two clips for the tubes, which do come quite in handy, because after all, you do have to have some wires going out of the AIO. So what they did is two tubes, two clamps on one side to hold the tubes, and on the other side you have two additional clamps to hold the cables. So unfortunately the PWM can't be placed inside because it's too thin for the clamp. But regardless of that, what you have is the thicker one that actually connects the pump and the fans all together to the controllers. Now, apart from everything that I mentioned, they simplified the installation process drastically, right? So specifically when we're talking about AMD, the only thing that you need to do is remove the original retention brackets from the motherboard, use those screws and place two new retention brackets, and then just place the pump block top on those by screwing the four screws that are already placed on the pump block top. If you go with Intel, you just have to place the back plate, which already has screws on it, and basically place the plastic standoffs on that back plate from this side and place the pump block top again. This is it. Three-step process. And I'm not even mentioning the cabling. So since, as I wanted to say, since this is a TL version, you get a controller that is dedicated to controlling the RGB on these ones and basically to connect the LCD screen as well. This gives you an option to simultaneously, because we are connecting the TL with the LCD screen at the same time to the controller, so you only need one channel on the controller, and then you can access the color scheme, the speed, and everything. Literally, you can control the pump speed, you can control the block LCD, you can control the lights here and the speeds of the fans. So this is basically really cool and really easy to manage all of this all together. The performance, right? We had Galahad 2 Trinity, we had Galahad 2 LCD, and now we have HydroShift LCD 360TL. I forgot to say LCD. In the whole part of the video, I forgot to mention LCD. So yeah, LCD, quite logical, right? Now let's check out the benchmarks. 89 degrees in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, 4850 megahertz clock speed, and 67 degrees Celsius. Now, I do have to mention one thing. We have here O11D Evo XL. We have here a new GPU. This is RTX 4080 Super Gaming X Slim. And the only thing that stays the same is the motherboard and the CPU. So we're having here MSI MPG B650 Carbon Wi-Fi with AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D. Going forward, when we mention Cinebench, the temperatures go from 79 to 81 degrees Celsius, which is quite solid, I do have to say. And the clock speed is from 5000 to 5025. The Cinebench score, now what I got is, at first it starts at 26,694, drops back to 26,000, almost 600, so 586, 679. It goes, actually, there's loads of difference here by 100 Cinebench points. So I would say somewhat an average is 26,630, 40, something like that. When you compare the LCD, the HydroShift LCD 360 TL with Galahad 2 Trinity and Galahad 2 LCD, you get 300 to 400 Cinebench points more with this one. So this is outstanding. Of course, we have to take into consideration that if you push the TL fans to 100, of course, there's going to be loads of noise as well as on any fan, but you get better performance, much better performance, because they are capable of pushing much more air through the radiator at 100%. So this is quite interesting. It all, of course, depends on your preferences regarding the noise, the acoustics, and the actual performance of what you're achieving and what you want to achieve. So yeah, bit of a specs. We're having here 2.88 inch IPS LCD screen with 480 times 480 pixels, 500 nits. The block size is 73.2 times 73.2 times 58.6, and the pump speed goes from 1500 to 3200 RPMs. Now, the radiator dimensions are a bit bigger, so you do have to take that into consideration. O11 series of cases won't have any problems, but if you decide to put this in another case, just be aware that the radiator dimensions are 403 times 124.5 times 31 millimeters of thickness. The fan is 124, 120, 28. So the total thickness is 59 millimeters. The fan speed, as you already know, 200 to 2600 RPMs. We have fluid dynamic bearing and similar stuff like that. So inside the box, what you get is HydroShift LCD 360 TL, 3 Unifan TL 120, mounting screw cap, radiator cover, tube and cable clip 2 times, and we have Intel 1700 backplate plus screw set, and AMD AM5 and AM4 adapter bracket to be able to mount it as such. When we access the L-Connect 3, of course, today they released a new version of it. I think it's 2.0.16, and we get loads of new stuff which you already been able to see at my boot coverage. We have new designs when we're talking about visual aspects, and they added 5 more, but they are appealing, I do have to say, but I would expect more customizability in the future, which, okay, they are progressing, they are updating it, and that's okay, that's really good, so big thumbs up. They added more stuff when we're talking about the actual sensors. So instead of 2, you can now add 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you can add, I don't know, CPU and GPU temperature, CPU and GPU percentage of load. So this is also really good. And then when we're talking about visual aspect of the radiator and of the CPU block pump top, I mean, they went back to Galahad 1 with this one. And I'm really digging the brushed aluminum on the radiator cover. This looks outstanding. And the black version also, I can't remember about the white version, but the black version also has a nice brushed aluminum cover around the actual LCD. So it looks outstanding, really slick, really clean visuals altogether. And I'm really digging it. Love the tubes that go up on top and then on the side, which is brilliant, because then you have more visual aspect. And imagine going with this, and then you add the back connect motherboard if you're into that stuff, if you don't want to see any of the cables. you'll basically have just main components visible. And we're going to that part. Well, basically, at some point, computer will disappear. I'm just kidding, of course. But altogether, yeah, this is an outstanding approach when we're talking about the tubes. Cooling is upgraded as well, and a bit of an update on the L Connect, which is kind of cool. More visuals here, and of course, you can edit as you wish with the recording and all the other stuff, as you've seen in the actual review of the L Connect and how to do whatever. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Big thumbs up to Lian Li for the HydroShift LCD 360 TL. I'll give it a performance badge because it did outperform past ones, and basically goes in the top category when we're talking about 360 AIOs performing outstandingly good and even quite close to the 420. It is a bit far-fetched, I do have to say, but it is performing quite nicely comparing to some 420s, going really neck to neck with those. So yeah, that's just some conclusion that I managed to review and test out, and get some info depending on the case. Of course, it all goes into that segment as well, but all in all, I'm really satisfied. So as I said, thumbs up, and links are in the description. If you want to copy the whole build, I'll place the links for everything. Maybe suggest going with 140 on the bottom and on the side, apart like I did with 120, but that's all up to you to decide what you're gonna do. And finally, if you like the video, don't forget to sub, like, and hit the notification bell, which will notify you for the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.